ACC basketball here Saturday. We've got a big one. NC State at Syracuse. The Orangemen undefeated. They're rolling along, and Jim Boeheim doesn't miss a beat up there. This is the greatest start they've had.
Yeah, and when you look at their team right now, the one thing that they do obviously better than anybody else in college basketball, they play that 2-3 zone. He's got amazing size and length on their back line. And this is a team that you'll make a few threes early against it and get comfortable against it, but you know, ultimately they push out, and those shots that you take become more and more difficult. I look at the kid Tyler Ennis right now. To me, he's one of the most intriguing guys that they have on their team. You know, Michael Carter-Williams goes to the NBA. He's with the Philadelphia 76ers right now. He's probably going to be the Rookie of the Year in the NBA. And Ennis is a guy that really plays with tremendous poise and leadership qualities. He's got a chance to be something special. They have guard play. They shoot it. They defend, they rebound, they got depth, and right now they play a style of play that fits their personnel. They're going to be very dangerous as they go along. Are they going to go undefeated regular season? No way. They got a tough game coming up against Pitt, but more importantly, I think this is a team come play the NCAA tournament that could go the whole way.
Well, one of the big reasons why we picked up the ACC was because of Syracuse being in the ACC, and it really has made already, you know, for some dream matchups. You know, Duke at the Carrier
That was
Dome.
a great game.
Yeah.
That was the best game, obviously, we've seen this year. And I have to look and I'd say that's one of the best college basketball games I've seen in the last decade. The intensity was great. I thought Duke's kids, I mean, making that three to tie the game and put it to overtime, play with great poise. And, you know, we're all disappointed that, you know, you don't have Villanova and Georgetown playing against Syracuse anymore. That was an incredible matchup. But when you look at the potential of Notre Dame every year, Duke, Carolina, when they get it back together, I think the ACC will ultimately be a very good move, not only for Syracuse from a basketball perspective, but from a football perspective.
All right, let's shift to the pro level. NBA, I got to bring this up. Unique situation last week. The Lakers end up with 4 players on the court. The 5th player had fouled out. Have you ever heard of that in the NBA?
In my 16 years in the NBA, I've never seen it. And you know, when you think about the fact that they ended up winning the game. They beat the Cleveland Cavs that night on the road with 4 guys. And obviously, Robert Sacre had to stay in the game as the 5th guy. Every time he picked up a foul, it was a technical foul. But, you know, bottom line is Chris Grant, the general manager of the Cavaliers, after that game, he got whacked. I mean, so you can't let that happen. You cannot lose to a team with 4 guys eligible to play. But it was one of the most remarkable stories I had a chance to see.
Is the rule the same in college?
Honestly, right, I've never had that experience, but I would imagine in college, if I'm not mistaken, you could play with 4.
I thought teams have finished games with 4 players.
4.
Yeah. Which makes for an interesting, it's like playing in the driveway.
Never had that problem. And usually I've been the one on the losing end of it, but I never had that happen.
There may have been games where you didn't finish the game.
There's been a few of those.
Let's wrap up about Niagara. Niagara, they're struggling, but you said they played well the last weekend. You know, Joe Mahalik leaving that program, a couple players left with him. You think the Purple Eagles are going to be able to get back on track?
It's going to take some time. I really like their coach, Chris Casey. I think he's doing as good a job as you can possibly do under difficult circumstances. I mean, they lose a few players to Hofstra, as well to Richmond. I mean, you know, if this team was intact this year, this Niagara-Canisius game on Friday night would be an epic type of a matchup. You know, you'd be talking about 2 of the top 3-4 teams in the MAC this year. So it's very unfortunate they don't have a full deck. But I think Chris has done the best job that he can. Obviously, Mason is a wonderful player who can really score points in a lot of different ways. The challenge for them is replacing him, and it's going to take a few years. There's no doubt programs like Niagara, Canisius, UB, St. Bonaventure, you just don't snap your fingers and get that marquee recruit and turn it all around. It's a process.
Jack, it's great having you out here. You know, I'm glad that you could drive south instead of north.
I would have loved to have seen Audie, but he's big time. He's over in
he's
Sochi.
at the Olympics. You know what? I'll ask Art to send you a postcard. Okay, you know, and maybe his other glove.
I knew Art when
before he was a big time.
Exactly.
Jack Armstrong. We'll be back. We're going to go back live to Sochi with Art Wander right after this.